Good morning. It's still morning here in Indiana. This is going to be the all air signs runes reading. I was trying to get to it over the weekend, but I really had a lot of things that I really was dealing with. If you have not checked out the video that I uploaded yesterday, I talked about some of the things that did come up for me. And I have said this before, we're not going to ever be completely rid of fears. The spiritual guidance that I have received from one of my spirit guides, who I call Dr. George, so if you ever hear me talk about Dr. George in videos, that is who I'm talking about. We've had many past lives together. The insight that he gave me about fears, because I was doing my paper route, of which turns out was to teach me to clear a lot of fears. And there were so many mornings I'm like, I'm scared again, like the same thing is scaring me. Will I ever be past this fear? And basically the spiritual guidance that I got was that we will never be completely fear-free, especially while we're living in this third dimension. But the important thing is to recognize them, to recognize fears when they come up, not to place blame on others, to be responsible for whatever feelings come up as a result of the fears, and to not feed any more into them, and to recognize that fears are nothing more than illusions, because they all involve the conditioning that we take on when we incarnate into the physical form that we're in now. I know I had somebody comment on one of my videos and was like, well, if I kidnapped you and tied you up and tortured you, would you be scared then? Well, for one thing, I'm not going to align to that type of situation. That is victim mentality. That is expecting things to happen, and attracting those by your vibe. We are the law of attraction, and it's always working. And so do tell yourself some better stories so that you attract higher vibrational situations into your life. Otherwise, you are just aligning to anything that comes up as a result of victim mentality. And then understand, it's really hard to when you watch the news, but do try to stay off the news, because everybody is experiencing their very own version of reality, and the news is everybody's all at one time. And if you haven't noticed, a lot of times the news is not completely honest. When they do tell stories, they sensationalize them, and at times I think that sometimes they're not even telling the complete truth. So I understand, that we live in this world and you want to be connected, but, just be very mindful of those things. Be very conscious of them. But what I'm going to do for the air signs is to pull as many runes as I am being guided to draw. And I have my laptop open so that I can look up the names, because I don't yet know all the names of the runes. So I'm going to pull some. So the first one that I have, and I'm pretty sure I'm starting to learn the names. This is ISA, and it stands for ice. Yes. Cosmic coherence is what this one says. I was going to go and look at a different definition, but I'm going to read it intuitively. So the energy that I'm getting with this is, I know I've spent a lot of time over the weekend connecting the dots between events that have happened into my life, and really seeing why they happened, and even seeing repeat lessons. Really go back and look. It's really fascinating. Look at things that have, and do watch the video that I uploaded yesterday, because I talked about this very thing. Do look back at difficult lessons that you've had, and have they repeated a second time, but in a different form, in a different way, but it still was the same energy. Really take a look at that, and you're going to have a lot of aha clarity moments. You're going to see the coherence. You're going to see how these timelines have evolved, and they have, you have reached a higher timeline. Look back at where all you have been and where you have came from. And this is a forward moving journey. You can never go back. And the information that I got from Spirit yesterday was, you know what? If you attract something in your physical reality, okay? The question that I wanted to know over and over again is, I know that the 3D are the illusions. The physical world are the illusions, but did the shit really happen or not? Are the other parties aware of it? Did it really happen? If if the 3D physical realm are the illusions, and we are simulating these are demos that we're simulating in our mind, which is the matrix. And so if we're doing that and they're not real, is there any memory of them? Well, yes, there's memory of them, but there's memory of them on the soul level. Because the soul is the one that's simulating physical experiences that they're having so that they can learn what it's like to be human. So is there a memory of them? Yes, there is. That was the information that I got. And the other message that I'm getting from this is to make sure that you are connecting the dots. That is the message that I'm getting with this, that coherence. And it's not a straight line. I mean, you might have been over here and over here and over here, but it's forward moving. You can never go back. Once you learn your lessons and you have evolved and you have shifted out of old energy, you cannot go back. You shouldn't want to. See if I can find this one. I should be learning these names by now. They're kind of hard though. This one is called Porth Hearth, Divination, Luck, and Primal Law. I believe this has to do with universal laws. Universal laws and universal truths never change. I don't know how many times on the twin flame journey I'm on that I've heard people say, well, you need to find the reader that you resonate with, because there's different groups of twin flames, and basically like they're doing it a different way. Like they like the truth is different for one group than it is for the other. You know, just kind of distorting spiritual truths. And I do feel like this happens a lot in these groups on social media. I know how to leave all of them. Like, they're still popping up. You know, like I'll get like a notification from a group and I'll leave that group and then another one comes up. I'm like, how many groups did I join? But a lot of times people get their spiritual information from Google or from the internet. They'll see a meme, and you know what? Instead of questioning the message on that meme, they just share it because you know what? It's so-called spiritual. And they don't really go within. And that where the divination part of this comes in at, I feel like that has to do with getting in touch with your own spiritual guidance. And how do you do that? Well, you're doing that right now. So I feel like whatever messages that you're hearing today are being divinely guided, and this is what you needed to hear at the right time. And I have been saying lately that I'm thinking about changing my videos from being like fortune telling readings to like more like teaching and guidance. Although, since I understand now that even though the physical realm and whatever happens in the physical are the illusions, the soul still remembers those. And even though it's important to really not feed into whatever's happening right now as far as these physical illusions that show up in your existence, because your fears have produced them. Sometimes they need addressed. So I am going to try to incorporate more physical stuff, more 3D world stuff into my videos, but in proper perspective, if that makes sense to you. So what I'm getting with this, like I said, was don't just take every last thing that you see and read and hear as the divine truth. There are divine truths, and then there's bullshit. And so do definitely use your intuition and really feel through whatever really resonates for you. Because I feel like that's a block. And the reason why I'm going to revisit this, the reason why I feel like that's a block is because on my journey, I kept trying to fit my situation into shit I had heard it was supposed to look like so-called stages or this, that, or whatever else. And so my journey wasn't fitting into that box that everyone said it was supposed to. And so I thought, well, I must be doing something wrong. And I wasn't listening to my own spiritual guidance, and I had myself held up for a while. So that message just came through. We have this one here. Let me see this arrow. Aha. Let's see it. Look at it again. Taiwa's Victory. Masculine God's Warrior Room. So I am sensing that there are more feminine energies watching this video right now. And the reason why is because I feel very strongly that you're worried about what your partner's doing. And you could be a man watching this worried about what your partner's doing. But I do feel like the focus is on the masculine. Whatever your male partner is doing. And like I said, this could be female, because you know what? Some of us females are really in our masculine energy. I know I can play the game better than any man most of the time. But whatever it is that you're dealing with, you're dealing with a masculine energy. Either a masculine in their physical form, or someone who tends to be more in their masculine energy. Now understand, I have said before that souls know no gender, and they don't, but we're talking about the physical world, and I did say I was going to incorporate within reason more of what's going on in the physical, since we are living in the physical realm, and these are situations that you are attracting normally by default, by way of fears, but there's a focus on the masculine. And if you have not read the book by John Gray, Women Are From Venus, Men Are From Mars, please do. Because John Gray talks about when men, they have trouble really getting in touch with their feelings. That's why I said I tend to be more in my masculine energy, because I really feel this very strongly. And so every time that they reach a new level of intimacy, they have to pull back, they have to withdraw, because they have to work through it. Wow, I needed to hear that too. So that is what I'm sensing with this energy right here, is that somebody, masculine, has ghosted you. You're not hearing from them like you were, and now you're worried that maybe they'll run off with somebody else, or they won't come back. But the message that's coming through from Spirit is to, whatever is yours by divine right, you will have. Or it will be restored to you with something better. And even though you don't want to hear that right now, that is exactly what you need to hear if you got triggered. So do let them be. Let them go. Let them rubber band back to you. In the meantime, do something, exciting. Do something you've always wanted to do. I know I would take whole days and just go to flea markets by myself and just go through things and look at stuff, or go to like an old antique store, just something that you like to do, so that when you do hear from this person and let them have their space, you can talk about all the exciting things that you've done while they've been gone, instead of being mad. We have it. This looks like an N. Is it an N or is it a Z? Maybe I'm looking at it wrong. Ha. Lord have mercy, where is it? Hold on, I'm sorry. Okay, I see it. It is called Nail. I can't believe this. Go back to this one. I'm sorry. I'm looking for it. I had it pulled up. I had it. It says, I can barely read that. Nothis. Nope, that's not it. Well, Lord have mercy. What is that one? Well, I thought I had it. Come on, work with me here. Okay. Wrath of nature, destruction, Hagalaz, wrath of nature, and destruction. Wow. I don't know if I wanted to know that meaning. I'm so sorry. I could not find it. Wrath of nature and destruction. And what I'm getting, the energy I'm getting with this is that you can be your own worst enemy. And understand our ego does not want us to be happy at all. At all. Because it knows once you reach that point of soul alignment where you are no longer paying attention to it, telling you to be scared of this, to be angry at that. I know when I get upset about something, I tend to like almost punish people. You know what? If I feel this way, you're going to feel it too. And I become very passive aggressive. And so I'm learning not to do this because you know what? That's not loving. That's conditional. Oh, you either do what I want you to or pay the price. I'm going to block you or cut myself off from you, or all because I'm not getting what I need from you. And this is the ego wanting to I saw a meme this morning and it said something about you are scared to try something new because you don't want to look like a fool. And that's the energy that I'm getting from this, like being scared that you're going to get hurt, so you have your guard up, and that wrath of nature is you, because you are the one that is not only attracting situations like this, but when you don't speak your truth and you aren't authentic about how you feel, you aren't doing yourself a favor. You're causing more harm than good. And then a lot of times we wonder why, when we send people mixed signals, when we act like we don't care because we're scared to show it, or, and maybe you're passive aggressive like me, and so you just act like, what, I don't care anyway. Just because you're trying to be hard and trying to be tough, you're sending out mixed signals, not only to that person, but to the universe as well. Because then what does the universe think? Well, you know what? She doesn't really care about this situation, or he doesn't really care about this situation one way or another anyway. So do be authentic and do honor your feelings. It is your thoughts you need to be mindful of. But at the same time, when you are authentic with your feelings, don't place blame. Take responsibility for your feelings and don't blame others for making you feel that way, because other people don't make us feel any type of way. Alright, this is the blank one, and I knew I was eventually going to get that one. When I was playing around with them, I got that one. And, let's see here. I know I had seen it somewhere, but if not, I'm sure I can. The blank one. Okay, so this one does not have a message on it, and I know enough to know that this means that is that whole blank slate. And if you did not check out my Rumi Oracle card reading that I did earlier for all signs, do check it out, because Rumi talks about in this message that I read about the fact that when you are trying to grow something or manifest something or develop something in your life, okay, you already know what it is that you want. You've set your intention out there, okay? By the law of attraction, this means that you are now mindfully trying to manifest. In order for that to grow, it needs a dark, cool, quiet place for that bulb. Imagine a bulb you've planted in the ground. And as long as you're watching it and you're waiting for it, it's not going to do anything. Have you ever noticed when you walk away, maybe you don't look at it for a couple days, come back, and there you have it sprouted up out of the ground. And you're like, wow, I didn't even see that. My son and I were talking about that one day. I was like, have you ever had, looked in the mirror and then, go back an hour later and you have a zit or, pimple, and you're like, where did it even come from? It's kind of like that energy. Not a pimple, but, maybe a tulip or daffodil or something you're trying to grow. And so this, to me, is that bulb that you have planted and you're trying to get it to grow. But if you just keep watching it, and maybe you're like, oh man, maybe I didn't plant it the right place, or maybe I didn't give it enough water, maybe it's not giving enough sunlight, it's not ever going to grow, and all your fears and insecurities come up, and you're like, man, I'll try again next time. This isn't going to work. Every time I plant a bulb, it just doesn't ever grow. But if you leave that energy alone, you walk away from it, go do something else. Focus on something else. That's what I was talking about, going to a flea market or something you enjoy doing, and not focusing on it. And then when the sprout does come out of the ground, you will have rich experiences that you can share. That is the message that I'm getting from this. Well, this is the heirs reading. I do plan to, it probably isn't going to get done tonight because I have some personal readings that I'm working on today, and they are video chat, so you do get to chat with me, and you get about 40 minutes of my time, and it's $40, about 30-35 minutes, and we get to interact. So if that is something you want to do, I do that through PayPal and Cash App, and I can let you know different areas of your life that you have blocks or whatever, things that you need to work on, more tailored to you specifically. But I do plan on doing the past lives reading possibly in the morning, so do watch for that if you do enjoy those. Thank you for watching.